Hello and welcome to the conversation on Bright Radio TV, your home of talk and entertainment. From the city of Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, I am Ugo Madu. And as we do on the conversation, we bring you an analysis, a very critical, very objective, of political issues and happenings across the country. More so in this period that is the pre-election year and less than a year to the 2019 general elections in Nigeria. We are locked in a battle of political alignments. Conversations, arguments have pervaded the political landscape of Nigeria, and that is what we are going to be looking at today again. A continuation of the 2019 general elections in Nigeria, the preparations, the people, and the prospects. Today on the conversation, it promises to be quite interesting. Another edition of the conversation on Bright Radio TV, your home of talk and entertainment. We will go on a short break. When we return, the conversation continues. Stay with us. Okay, welcome back from that short break. You are still watching the conversation on Bright Radio TV, your home of talk and entertainment. Today on the conversation, it's a continuation of the series we started yesterday on the Nigerian 2019 elections, the preparations, the people, and the prospect today. And I have with me a legal practitioner, a notary public, a public affairs commentator, Jegede Oarhe, in the studio with me this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And welcome. How are you today?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, sir. The major component of our national discourse on a daily basis across the country now is from the north, the southeast, and the west is about politics. That is what we wake up to, and that's what we sleep with every day now. The 2019 general elections, and they are just by the corner. And a whole lot of people, political analysts and watchers, are a bit skeptical, because when you look at the preparedness of the level of preparedness of the relevant stakeholders to this election, and then the quality and the disposition of the people, and what the prospects hold for Nigeria, a whole lot of people are a bit skeptical. We'll start today's conversation with INEC being the umpire, the electoral umpire, and then their level of preparedness, how ready they are to take us to the next level to ensure a free, fair, and credible election come 2019. In your considered opinion, how prepared is the INEC? And if they're not prepared, what do we need to put in place to ensure a rank-free election 2019, sir?
All right. I must say that over time, the electoral umpire in Nigeria has never been 100% prepared. However, we have had series of elections. Okay.
But would you give it to INEC today and 2015? Would you give it to INEC in terms of pass mark?
Yes. 2015 was good enough. And for me, I think that is a benchmark Every subsequent elections will have to contend with the standards set by that election.
Okay, INEC has conducted a total of 167 elections since after the 2015 general elections. How would you rate their performance after 2015?
Well, not good enough. There are rooms for improvement. Not good enough because we saw a lot of lapses in some of those elections conducted, particularly if you look at the Ekiti.
Yes.
I think it's a whole lot of issues, not just with INEC, with the entire stakeholders. One major issue that happened at the election in Ekiti was the issue of vote buying.
Yes.
And one would think that by now INEC should have developed strategies in concert with the security agencies
to curb vote buying.
Now, that was not done in Ekiti. We are going into the general elections. We are hoping that, taking a cue from what happened in Ekiti, they will improve on their preparations and the conduct of the election to ensure that what happened in Ekiti does not happen in subsequent elections.
But sir, after the Ekiti governorship elections, we had the Katsina State senatorial by-election as well as the Bauchi senatorial by-election. And then we still had these incidences of vote buying.
You see, I think that
even pictures are there to show that even at the polling centers, party stakeholders or political stakeholders came with money and openly, compromised the entire situation.
You see, that appears to be the current way of rigging election in Nigeria, because it appears with the introduction of the card reader and all of that.
Yes,
it's now becoming more difficult for politicians to rig election. Now they are thinking of more scientific ways of rigging an election and all of that. Now vote buying is a menace we must curb. Now, like you said, in Ekiti, for instance, because I was raised in Ekiti, so I was interested in that election. I made series of calls. I called a lot of people, and I was told that at the polling booths, you see an agent of the PDP, another agent of the APC, one dangling 4,000 naira, the other dangling 5,000 naira.
So the difference is 1,000.
Some collected both and voted their choice. And at some point, I also realized that when you cast your vote, they demand that you snap your ballot paper to show
that you actually voted,
to show the candidate you voted for. Then when you are done, you probably get more money. Like I said, it's a new form of rigging election.
But it must be discouraged.
Yes, it must be discouraged. I think we need to educate the electorate. It matters a lot, because if the politicians give and the electorates don't take, then of course it will be discouraged.
Yes.
Now, we need a lot of voters' education. The people should know that when you collect this money, you mortgage your future.
Yeah, but some people, some of the electors will tell you that they collect the money, they don't collect the money. They are worse off for the whole thing, because these people get into office and they don't see them again. So instead of losing out totally, let me collect a little. I say, what do you say? What do you say about that?
I think that is an impression we need to correct. That was why I said voters' education is very, very important. Now, we need to let the people know that when you refuse to collect this money, you cast your vote, ensure that your vote counts. Then after, whoever emerges at the end of the day, you must ensure that you hold your leader to account. If you have voted for somebody to represent you, the person should indeed represent you. And if it doesn't, you should hold that person to account. Instead of taking 4,000 naira and you are satisfied with whatever happens thereafter, it is not the best.
Okay, going away from INEC, there are some other key players in the political process. You cannot overstate the importance, the place and position of the security forces, the Nigerian Police Force, the National Civil NSCDC, the DSS, and all other relevant security agencies. They have one role or the other to play in the success or otherwise of the political process and the 2019 general elections. How would you rate the Nigerian Police, the DSS, and other security agencies?
Well, I think I must first make a point that our elections, particularly the ones we have had after 2015 election, were over-policed.
Yes.
You take the entire police
to a state.
Take them to a state. And now the point I'm going to make is this: over-policed because we are not even getting the results.
Yes.
Now we are talking about vote buying. Yes. Vote buying is an offense. It's a criminal offense.
Yes.
Now, what is the impulse of the thousands of police you take to a state and they are not able to arrest anybody? Nobody is being prosecuted after the election.
Rather, there are reports that they aided some of these political parties and agents.
Good. Now, in fact, we had a lot of info. In fact, I think what people are saying now is that the government at the national level is using the security agencies against opposition. And I think that is one area we need to address. You see, this country needs to develop to a state where institutions serve everybody. Irrespective of your party affiliation.
Because they are paid with the taxpayers' money. And the taxpayers' money belongs to everybody. The money they are paid in terms of salary and allowances, it's Nigeria. It's not a particular political party or person.
In fact, we saw some videos online after the elections, several elections after 2015, where you see somebody snatching ballot box and you see a policeman watching.
Yeah.
Somebody is being manhandled by a political thug, and you see a policeman watching.
It happens so much in Ekiti. There are pictures to that effect. That leaves us very, very, very worried. Okay, it will get better. Okay, from the INEC, the security agencies, another set of people that are critical to the process are the political parties, because they have the platforms that present candidates to vie for these elective positions. Let us start with the APC as the ruling party. They've brought out their schedule, their primaries, and then their nomination forms and the cost. What is your take on the cost of nomination forms by the APC first?
I think it is a scheme to ensure that only the elites continue to govern and rule us in this country. Recently,
is this not a contradiction of their stance on change?
I strongly believe so. In fact, there are several contradictions with APC, not just on the issue of the cost of nomination form. Beginning from, let me say this, and I think it's going to affect the fortune of APC at the elections. Now, some of us supported APC in 2015 because they dangled restructuring.
Yes.
Some of us believed that was what we needed in this country. That restructuring this country, particularly as it gets to do with devolution of power from the federal government to the states and of course the local government, Nigeria would be better off. To
ensure fiscal federalism.
Now, the same party who insisted, who said, in fact, that was one of their campaign promises, they were going to restructure Nigeria. Now it's a different ball game. They are no longer talking about restructuring, they are in power. That is just one. There are several issues, showing contradiction on the part of APC. Now, talking about nomination form, for instance, what if I'm interested to contest for probably Senate, House of Reps?
Then you'll be coughing out 6 million for the Senate.
That is the point. What if I can't afford it? Very recently, a bill was passed, Not Too Young to Rule, and we thought the various political parties, particularly the APC, the party in power, will take into cognizance that young people need to begin to vie for some of these offices to bring their energy to bear for the development of the country. But when you
peg your nomination forms,
then it becomes difficult.
Because it's quite discouraging, and a whole lot of outcry out there against the nomination forms and their price tags. That of the presidency pegged at 45.5 million, and the governor 20 million, the Senate 6 million, the House of Reps 3.5 million, and it leaves us more worried than they met us. I think so.
I think another point is it encourages corruption.
Corruption, yes.
Because how do I spend so much
just to buy a
nomination form?
You've not talked about the entire logistics
involved and the campaign eventually. You see, how when you raise all of this money and you invest them in an election,
you have to
if eventually you emerge, you want to recoup your money.
You have to recoup first.
So I think it encourages corruption. And APC as a party telling us that they want to eradicate corruption, or they want to, they shouldn't do this. They should reduce the prices of these nomination forms such that everybody can afford it.
Okay, that is Jegede Oarhe. Was talking about the Nigerian 2019 elections, the preparations, the people, and the prospect. We'll go on a short break. When we return, the conversation continues. Stay with us.
What's happening in the world of your favorite celebrities, and you always want to be up to date with trending videos, hot topics, as well as celebrity gists. Savage tweets also. The Queen of Savage has got you covered. Join me every weekday on Entertainment Gist from 2 to 3 p.m. on Bright TV, channel 101 on TSTV Africa. I do not gossip. I speak vital information.
Welcome back from that short break. You are still on the conversation on Bright Radio TV, your home of talk and entertainment from the city of Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. I am with Jegede Oarhe looking at the 2019 general elections in Nigeria. Okay, before that break, we talked about the APC, the nomination forms and the price tags. Very, very discouraging. And the PDP has come up with their own, yes, a little difference from... there's a little difference between theirs and the forms of the APC. The presidency is 12 million, the governor 6 million, the Senate is 3.5 million, the House of Reps 1.5, and then House of Assembly 600,000. What is your take on this?
You see, like I said earlier, it's discouraging. It doesn't allow a lot of people, particularly young people, who have the potentials to lead this country, who have the energy to bring about development.
Considering the fact that the president signed a not too young to run law bill into law, is now law for Nigeria to encourage younger people to participate in Nigerian politics, and then that means a party like the APC and the PDP really do not hold much in terms of prospects for the very young people.
Well, not too young to run bill. I think the biggest advantage is that it reduced the age limit to contest for some
elections. Yes.
Beyond that, I think what the parties are doing is quite discouraging.
It's not encouraging.
No. A young man who probably just graduated, got a job, and
I wonder where he will get 45 million naira to just buy form.
Earns probably 60,000-70,000 naira a month, has worked for 3 or 4 years, and now he's interested in going into government. Where is he going to get the money from?
Okay, we have some other parties that were newly registered. Maybe those ones will offer a better alternative in terms of platform to the young people.
No doubt about that, but that will now depend on the popularity of the party.
You see,
the politics in Nigeria, people look first at the party before they look at the individual vying for the office.
Should it continue? Should this trend continue?
It shouldn't. You see, but I think it's there are in two ways. First of all, every party is expected to have very strong ideology. Yes. To convince the electorates on why they should vote you into office.
You bring us to a very important issue again that has been on the front burner and has refused to die or go away. The issue of lack of ideology among the political parties in Nigeria. They seem not to have any ideology at all.
They do not. You see, first of all, I think the issue of rights as enshrined in the Constitution, particularly the ones in Section 2 that are not enforceable. This, I think, should be the basis of the ideologies of the various political parties in Nigeria. Because you can't tell me that my government cannot provide health for me, cannot provide for me to take good care of myself, cannot provide security,
the social well-being,
and at the end of the day, I cannot hold the government accountable. So I think any political party that has some of these rights as ideologies will have a better place in the heart of Nigerians. That is one. Another is that it is one thing to have beautiful ideologies, it is one thing to have beautiful programs, it's another to keep to it.
Yes.
Like I said about APC earlier, when they came in 2015, they told us a whole lot of things, including fighting corruption. Whether corruption is being fought now or not is a different kettle of fish. So it is one thing to have ideology, it's another to keep to it when you get into office. So it's a very serious matter. Electorates will need to begin to wake up to hold our government into account. Whatever they have promised, if they have earned our vote, they must do it. We have opportunity to get our representative to impeach.
Yes.
We can recall members of the National Assembly or House of Assembly. There are several means by which we can get our leaders to perform that which they have promised.
Okay, we have the CUPP, we have a whole lot of coalitions, attempts at merger, at coalitions, trying to form alliances, in a bid to oust the All Progressives Congress, the incumbent party at the federal level. How impactful, or how do you see this playing out? Do you see them making an impact if there's a coalition at the end of the day?
I think it's too early to conclude, but I must say that these coalitions are healthy for us. They are healthy in the sense that it will help parties, it will help organizations pull manpower together, pull resources together, and create an alternative to the party in power. Alternative at the level of the election. Now, Nigerians will look at the options they have and go for the best. So it's healthy that we're having this coalition. But I think it is too early for us to conclude or to suggest whether they are making impact or not. Coalitions are still going on, alignment and realignment here and there. At the end of the day, as time goes by, we'll be able to tell if they have a strong force to contend with the APC and of course the PDP. But now it appears as if the race is between APC and PDP because they appear to be the only two parties
that have national coverage and presence,
that have the structure and that are ready for the election.
Okay. Having said that, the APC is the ruling party, and whether we like it or not, is the party to beat come 2019. They are caught up in very serious internal crisis, from defection to the mode of the conduct of primaries, and a whole lot of issues confronting the national leadership of the APC. How do you see this playing out and its impact on the electoral fortunes come 2019?
The defections in APC were inevitable. Looking at how they came together, people said they were strange bedfellows brought together. So defections were inevitable. Again, what happened at the time Senator Bukola Saraki emerged as the Senate President, that crisis...
It was against their will.
That crisis was not properly managed by the leadership of APC. And as time went by, it degenerated. So defections were inevitable. Now they have defected.
Does this show that they are not good at managing crisis?
Obviously. Now, when former Governor Adams Oshomole emerged as the chairman of the party, people were optimistic, believing that he will bring his experience to bear in resolving the crisis in the party. First, as a union leader, as a governor, but a lot of people thought
Are you disappointed?
Of course, I am. One would expect, at the time he emerged as the chairman of the party, one would expect him to call the members of the party together and resolve the dispute amicably. But the moment he came in fact, he became the publicity secretary of the party, talking here and there, calling people names, people who have contributed their quota to the party.
Sorry, we have a call. Hello, good morning.
Morning. How are you today?
We're good. Your name and your location. Can you turn down the volume of your TV set?
Okay, I've done that. My name is Alex. I'm calling from Makodi.
From Makodi, okay. Good morning, Alex.
Thank you very much.
Please go ahead with your contribution.
I want to greet your guest in the studio this morning.
Okay, thank you. I'm greeting you.
He has been very excellent in his
analysis. Okay, thank you.
Let me comment on the recent one we are talking about.
Okay.
Which is the internal crisis management of the APC.
Yes.
You see, it's quite unfortunate that the APC call themselves a progressive party. Meanwhile, we are not seeing that from them.
Okay.
When they had this crisis, they could not manage them. and the crisis escalates.
Yes.
Today we are talking about direct and indirect primaries.
Yes.
Some states today have said they will adopt consensus.
Yes.
They have not stick to what we expect to see from them, which is good internal democratic practice.
Yes.
Today their funds are not youth friendly.
Yes.
The fund for the president is 45 million naira. What do you expect a youth who is following up democracy in this country to get 45 million to buy, which the time limit is also very short?
Yes.
The one for House of Assemblies in our state by more than a million naira.
Yes.
So why are they carrying the youth along? So you can see that those people, with their promises that they brought to this country, we deceived us, we followed them. At the time they came, they told us they will reduce fuel to 15 naira. We were all happy. When they came, fuel has skyrocketed to 145 naira. A bag of rice then was about 4,000 something. Today you can buy almost 9,000. So what I'm trying to say in essence is, they have just controlled the public. And we want to tell them that, okay, for doing this, we have another 4 years and we must surely pay them back. Because by paying them back, we are also afraid that the president has refused to sign the new electoral, which he has rejected 3 times.
Yes.
Meaning that we are going back to the old days of counting votes, not electronically.
Okay.
Because we can decide and say, because we are not
Go ahead.
in the produce 9 million votes. So what do you do? When the candidate will take that. So let the president also show us sportsmanship by signing the electoral law that he has rejected 3 times.
Okay, sir.
Because of errors that there is no comma, the calculation there is supposed to be a dot.
Okay.
Are those reasons to reject the deal?
Okay, Mr. Alex.
Supported in these people.
Okay, thank you. And I'm very sure that the relevant authorities they are listening to your call now, and they will do
Let them do something.
and they will do. We are hopeful that they will do the needful before that time. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, let me quickly make a comment on what he said. He said something about internal democracy.
Yes.
That the crisis management mechanism in APC is very poor. I think that may be an advantage for PDP or any other political party if they can conduct a good primary election. There are several candidates jostling for the office of the president.
We are coming to that in the PDP. But do you feel that APC has had very viable and credible opposition since 2015 in Nigeria?
I really don't think so.
You don't think so? Yes. Okay. Who will look at the PDP and the number of aspirants on their platform jostling for just a ticket? We have very wonderful people on that platform now. They're all frontline aspirants. If you ask me, there's no one you can wish away. Okay, what do you see playing out? Because some people have equally opined that PDP should zone it to the northwest in a bid to counter the clout and the presence of President Muhammadu Buhari in the northwest. What is your view?
Well, my take personally is that whether northwest or northeast is still okay.
Okay.
What might not be good enough is not central.
Sorry?
In my opinion.
Okay, we have a call coming in. Okay. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Your name and your location, please.
My name is Butler.
Can you tune down the volume of your TV set? Hello?
Can you hear me very well?
Okay, your name and your location, please.
Yeah, I think my name is Butler. I'm speaking from Nasarawa.
Okay, Nasarawa. Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just want to contribute
Okay.
to the program.
Okay, go ahead.
I heard what the gentleman said, that the price tag on the nomination is too high.
For which party?
to my own mind, it's not a new thing. I'm not party to any political party, but the truth must be told.
Okay.
I get in my point.
Yes.
During the time of PDP, the same thing. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
You said they should lower the price.
Okay.
They will not value the system.
Okay.
If you know you are qualified, go in for it. That is my take.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
I think I disagree with him. In other climes, you have independent candidature,
Yes.
where you don't have to belong to any political party.
Yes.
You vie for election, and of course, if you are popular, the people vote for you.
Vote for you.
So
it's not dependent on the amount of
the value you attach to the office or to the election has nothing to do with what you paid for the form.
Yes. Okay. The PDP is confronted with a very big challenge now, with the quality and the number of people jostling for the presidential ticket. What do you see playing out?
As I was saying earlier,
Yes.
before the call came in, APC has never won election in the South-South. The same thing with the Southeast. Now you have Southwest, which can be 50-50 between PDP and APC.
APC, yeah.
Now we'll take our focus to North Central.
North Central.
North Central, of course, it could be 50-50 between the parties.
Okay.
Now I think the focus should be on Northeast
West and Northwest.
and Northeast. Northwest and Northeast. So it really doesn't matter whether PDP zones presidency to Northwest or Northeast. A viable candidate from any of the two zones can conveniently contend with the candidate of the APC. Now, what is important is this. They have so many aspirants on the platform of the PDP. They need to do a free and fair primary election.
Yes.
The reason is very simple. If the primaries are not fair, it is obvious that people will be disenchanted, the effect of which might be that they will want to leave the party again for another party.
Yeah, but the national leadership of PDP has prevailed, according to reports, on the aspirants to have a meeting among themselves and come out with a consensus candidate, or a situation where one or two people will step down for some of this, at least to prune the number to a figure that is very reasonable. And till date, we've not seen that happen. And then the national chairman, Pre-Secondo, says if they are unable to have this among themselves, an agreeable position, then the field will be made open and level for all of them to test their popularity amongst Nigerians. What do you say about that?
I think it will be difficult for PDP to have a consensus candidate.
Given the quality of people.
The aspirants are political gladiators. They are popular.
Yes.
They are tested. Whether they are trusted is another thing anyway. You have the likes of Atiku. I wonder if Atiku will want to step down for any of the aspirants. Like I said, eventually, if they're able to prune down the number, fine. Eventually, they go to the primaries. Now, at the primaries, if they ensure that no aspirant is shortchanged, such that at the end of the day, all the aspirants will see the process.
The outcome will be acceptable to all.
And at the end of the day, they will work together as one party.
Do you see PDP making an inroad into the 2019 elections?
I strongly believe so.
Okay.
Some members of PDP have suffered unjustly in the hands of this administration. I will tell you why. The president is fighting corruption. It is good. We want corruption to be clamped down in this country, but the way and manner you go about it matters a lot.
Okay.
You for instance, you investigate an alleged offense. Someone is charged to court. The court says, I hereby release you on bail pending the determination of this case. And you see a president who is saying that national security is subject to rule of law.
Okay.
So I believe with what members of PDP have suffered, they should be able to stand up to APC at the elections.
Okay, quite amazing. having Jegede Oarhe in the studio, looking at Nigeria 2019 general elections. We've been going through this since 8 o'clock. If you just joining us, this is the conversation on Bright Radio TV. We will go on a short break. When we return, the conversation continues. Please stay with us.
Do you want to know what's happening in the world of your favorite celebrities? And you always want to be up to date with trending videos, hot topics, as well as celebrity gists? Savage tweets also. The Queen of Savage has got you covered. Join me every weekday on Entertainment Gist from 2 to 3 p.m. on Bright TV, channel 101 on TSTV Africa. I do not gossip. I speak vital information.
Joha, I pay looking up and a million of the mix up.
Get up, yeah, she's a dancer.
I don't like your little game.
The man say we never go Ghana. So now him sing with the banga. Oh, something.
Okay, welcome back from that short break. This is the conversation on Bright Radio TV, and we'll be looking at Nigeria 2019 general elections, the preparations, the people, and the prospects. Okay, sir, in other climes, when a party is in power, the people judge you by performance. That should be a yardstick to either retain you in power, to re-elect you, or to show you the exit door. APC came to power on 3 cardinal points: security, corruption, and the economy. What is your take in terms of assessment of the APC-led government? Why Nigerians should give them another chance in 2019?
You see, in Nigeria, probably because of the hangover of the series of military administrations we had,
Yes.
It appears as if the government is doing the citizenry a favor when they initiate a
Project, yes.
and execute it eventually. And in fact, the people say it as if the government is doing them a favor by executing a project.
But actually, that's what they are there to do.
It shouldn't be. It is your right. You
Yes.
are entitled to it.
Yes.
That is the essence of electing a government in
So
power.
on the economy, how have they addressed the issues
Well,
regarding the economy?
Looking at where we are coming from, I must admit that shortly before 2015,
Yes.
we had serious economic issues in Nigeria, which of course led the country into recession. And this administration indeed has been grappling with efforts to pull the country out of the economic quagmire that we are in. But what we see is that it should be better than what we have.
But the figures from the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics is quite disturbing in terms of unemployment.
In fact, I was going to say that very drastically, apart from the fact that they told us that we have, initially they said we're technically out of recession, eventually they said we're out of recession. When you look at the indices, the issue of unemployment is a terrible one in this country.
The number of lost jobs since 2015 till date is, I don't think we've seen it before.
Very enormous. Nothing has changed. No employment. Now, one key issue is this: government cannot create all the jobs. But when you make the environment conducive,
at least
investors will come in,
investor friendly,
jobs will be created. And that takes us to the issue of security you mentioned.
Yes.
The security issues we have in Nigeria will make it almost impracticable for any reasonable investor to want to come and invest his money here.
Corruption. What do you say about the fight against corruption? A whole lot of people hold divergent views and opinions about the disposition of this government to the issue of tackling corruption.
You see, my take is this: fighting corruption should be #1 agenda for any government in Nigeria.
So,
whether an APC government,
have they been able to fight corruption or tackle corruption, whatever language they intend to use?
I don't think so.
Why do you say so?
The reason is very simple. You see, what we'll see appears to be a selective fight against corruption. You find men in the party of the president whose hands are immersed in corruption. The government looks the other way.
Yes.
So what we'll see is a selective fight against corruption. That is one. Two, as much as it is good to go after individuals who are corrupt or who have allegedly committed one corrupt offense or the other, the institutions, it matters. The institutions are corrupt. If you have the institutions under you as the president of a country,
they'll take instructions from you,
and you can't rein them in, of course you are not curbing corruption.
So should we amend the act setting up the EFCC? Should it be amended?
I think it's very important
to amend it,
and it is important to the effect that the power to appoint the head of these agencies should not reside with the president, because it's obvious he who pays the piper dictates the tune.
Okay, time will let us go further than this. It's been quite educative and informative too, with Jegede Oarhe, legal practitioner, public affairs commentator, and notary public. On a party note, sir, what do you have to tell Nigerians with respect to 2019 general elections?
I want to first of all salute their courage.
Okay.
The way and manner they got their PVCs.
Yes.
There were so many cards with the electoral body, INEC, and the way and manner people came out to get their PVCs, those who already registered and those who registered. I salute their courage. It only shows that they are willing to take their destinies in their hands.
And effective
I salute their courage. However, I must tell Nigerians to keep their eyes wide open, make informed choices, and ensure that your vote counts, and hold your leader to account thereafter. Okay,
thank you so very much, sir. Well, the issue of good governance cannot be overstated. More so as we approach the 2019 general elections. Nigeria belongs to all of us, and it is our duty, our national duty, to make sure that come 2019 we enthrone the right leadership in Nigeria. From me, it's a bye. Till tomorrow morning again at 8 a.m. Conversation comes your way. At the top of the hour at 9, Sports Attack comes shortly. Please stay with us.